I'll tell you the honest answer. I don't like stress about getting married. If I meet someone who I love in that way, like, yeah, I expect them to marry me. I do. I'm traditional or whatever, like, yes, I expect them to marry me. I don't know that, like, I think I'll meet somebody, but I could not.
People always said to me, you'll be surprised by who you fall in love with. I heard that comment so many times that I figured it must be true. So when I was single...
Listen, I'm undateable, okay? I'm undateable.
I started trying to imagine this man that I would never imagine. Who is the man I would not expect? Maybe someone I didn't find physically attractive?
He could be a terrible person. He could have no sense of humor.
Maybe someone with a job I'd never heard of.
A shepherd or some kind of like salmon farmer or something, and you're like, I never would have thought, but now I'm in love with this salmon farmer. What if I marry somebody who has such different design tastes? First of all, no one will ever marry me, obviously, so not really a concern. And what if he sucks? What if he sucks? What if I suck? What if I suck?
I tried to open myself up to every surprising possibility when picturing this mystery man. But there was one thing that I never, in my wildest thought experiments, ever imagined. This is that story. I think we all have a type. Yes, even you sitting there thinking, I don't have a type. Yes, you do. Because I'm not just talking about whether you like blondes or brunettes or green eyes. I'm talking about a pattern.
I bet he's on the fringes of society. And if that's the case, oh, game over. I love it.
That pattern you keep finding yourself in.
Surprise! I'm attracted to a man who's emotionally avoidant. It's just so hot. Why is it so hot to be emotionally inarticulate?
A dynamic that hooks you again and again if you're not careful.
Why? Why do I do this? I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I like get to this point where I understand people and then I can like empathize and explain away anything they do. It's probably not good.
That toxic type that can leave you crying at 1 a.m. alone in your bed, asking out to no one in particular. How do I keep finding these men? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about type, and you can spend a lifetime chasing them. So what happens when after years of pursuing the same type and years of things not working out, you finally say, F it? To kick off my grand experiment in dating outside my type, I started with first giving chances to guys who I wasn't physically attracted to.
Oh yeah, I'm going on dates, I gotta be hot again. Well, I haven't been on any dates. All these freaking whatever average Joes are like too good to respond to my very funny messages. Very funny. I'm very engaging. And they're not even cute. I feel like I'm doing them all a favor. This is charity work. I feel like this should be a tax write-off.
I figured my taste has led me astray so far, so why not toss some wild cards into the mix? And listen, I know plenty of women who swear they don't date for looks. Never met a man who claims this, by the way, but that's a discussion for another day. And you know what? Kudos to those women, I guess. Maybe they're better women than me. But what I ultimately learned from this experiment is that, frankly, the ugly ones will break your heart just as quickly as the hot ones will.
This guy I was seeing broke up with me, so I feel pretty bad. Feeling pretty bad about myself.
So, as my sister poetically put it, if both have the same capacity to ruin your life, you might as well pick one you actually enjoy looking at. And that was the end of that. Phase 2. So next I thought, maybe my type has nothing to do with looks. Maybe my real type is men who need me. And more importantly, men who made me feel needed. I thought back on my long history of codependence. As a middle child and de facto mediator in a large family, I found a sense of identity in being the helper, being the facilitator. That's how I felt useful as a kid. It's how I felt lovable. It's how I felt worthwhile at all. Then, as an adult, I noticed that I gravitated towards men who needed me to fix something for them, to help them get sober, to motivate them, or to be their therapist. And I steered clear of men that didn't have a clear problem or a deep sadness that I could try to fix. Because if they were happy, then what would they ever want with me? This pattern was largely subconscious for many years of my adulthood, but once I named it, I thought, okay, then I'm gonna start choosing the very type of men who scare me the most. Men who already have the life they want. Men who don't need me. And so began my phase of choosing men who seemed like they had it all going for them. Career, looks, friends, no obvious problem to be fixed. Men who were thriving because their lives were seemingly full and brimming. And they were busy too. Really busy. I always felt like I was just a few steps away from finally securing their attention, with their approval dangled just barely in front of me, like the ever-receding end of the rainbow. But if I worked just a little bit harder, made myself just a little sexier, just a little cooler, surely I could finally reach it. So I ran, and I ran, and I never found where the rainbow touched the earth.
At one point, he told me, he was like, yeah, I kind of have this thing where sometimes I'm really, really into people, and then once they meet me there, I back away. And I was like, oh, I mean, thank you. Thank you for telling me that you're undateable. That's pretty bad.
And that's when I realized I maybe hadn't gotten as far from my type as I thought. These men didn't need me to help them get sober or improve their careers or be their therapist, but they needed me to boost their ego, to make them feel like big, strong men, to make them feel like they were on top of their game and could keep their options open. And finally, I was tired of it.
These dudes be being so weird up in here. They be being so super weird. And I love a freak. You know, I'm open to weird. I love a freak, but they're not the freak flavor I'm looking for. So weird tastes. I don't think I'm gonna keep dating.
So I stopped dating. I took a break and tried to return to myself.
I'm still gonna go out and do stuff. Like, it's a beautiful evening. I'm gonna fucking have a great time.
I spent time enjoying my friends, my family, working out, doing the things that brought me joy and made me feel worthwhile. I made YouTube videos.
I hope one day that I have the romance with a partner that I have with YouTube. It feels like the place where I make sense for the first time. That's like the feeling that I think about, like I want to find in a romantic partner one day. Like a romantic partner who makes me make sense.
I made myself laugh.
I bought myself this sweatshirt because I thought it was a funny sweatshirt, debating wearing it on future dates.
I went to therapy. I held space. I journaled. April 16th, 2023. I don't know why, but patience just seems like the name of the game these days. I keep, maybe wistfully, having this feeling that something's around the corner. Of course, I'd like it to be someone, but it may not. But it's true that something's around tomorrow's corner. The unknown and aliveness of life. And the very next date I went on was with you. You. I found you online. You were polite, inquisitive, thoughtful. We talked about how I'm haunted by orbs, etc. For our first date, you took me to a tiki bar, one of your favorites, and the date was good. Just had a first date with Justin. He seemed almost a little proper. Maybe just a little proper, like I didn't want to curse in front of him. He was really taking an interest, asking like a lot of questions, which basically has never happened with any guy I've gotten a date with. He had really kind of reflective, insightful things to say. Yeah, I basically wanted to smile a lot. You were confident, considerate, hyper intelligent, and beautiful. My God, you were beautiful. I mean, I was like very attracted to him. He was very cute. I found him to be very cute and adorable. He was in very good shape. He's in very shape. He was like busting out of that shirt. Fucking busting out. Yeah, he was in very good shape. I wanted to fucking jump him. Huh, wow, that's up. That is messed up. But it wasn't an instant spark, and it wasn't instant banter. It was something steadier. Intention, effort, consideration. And the thing is, I'd had the banter and instant personality connection in previous relationships, and none of them worked out. So if this felt different from that, maybe that was really, really good. So we dated. I strayed further from my usual pattern and strayed deeper into you. As I got acquainted with your mind, your values, your sense of humor, weird voices, and taste in residential architecture, there were 3 major events that awakened me to the idea that you were different. I was blown away by the amount of effort you put in. From planning elaborate dates, gifts, surprises, flowers for no reason. Now, to be clear, these are just superficial gestures, and I'd learned long ago that romantic gestures alone do not equal commitment. Actually, in my experience, romantic gestures usually just mean a guy wants something from me. So what did you want? I actually Googled, how do you know if you're being love bombed? I actually Googled that. And I asked my therapist, is love bombing when you just feel really happy all the time? Well, she debated, that depends. What does he expect from you in return? It was a question I'd asked you myself, so I told her what you had told me. Nothing. It's not tit for tat, you said. It's not like that. These are just the things I like to do for the people I care about. My therapist sighed. I don't think that's love bombing, she lamented. I'm sorry to break it to you, but that might just be regular old love. Nice try. I wasn't buying it. And things just got weirder from there. For as long as I live, I will remember the evening when we were sitting on my couch. You asked a hypothetical relationship question. What would you do if XYZ happened in our relationship? And I never know how to answer these kinds of hypotheticals. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing or of misspeaking and having it held against me forever. So I began to fumble through my answer, and sensing my panic, you stopped me. And I will never forget what you said. Hey, there's no right answer. There's just whatever you think based on your experience and whatever I think based on my experience. And we'll just figure out the rest from there. Where did you learn this? How dare you sit here on my couch and so calmly tell me that there's no right or wrong way for me to answer? How dare you be this way? You might as well have added that we were gonna flap our arms and fly. I'll never forget that moment when you took my entire world and opened it up wide enough for me to be a whole person. Told me that loving you didn't mean I needed to be a mirror of you. That I could be separate, and I could be different, and I could be whole, just like that. Now, the third revelation isn't something you're really supposed to talk about. So here we go. Yes, I fell in love with your personality, but that's not when I knew you were the one. I knew you were the one when I fell in love with the way you have conflict. Conflict. It will happen. So long as you unite yourself with anyone who isn't you. And conflict is where you see someone's character, their maturity, their ability to think beyond themselves. When we had conflict, you still treated me with care. Even in moments of annoyance or disappointment or anger, even in the hard moments, you took the time to hear me, the time to pause, The time to reassure me that even if we disagreed, that this moment wasn't going to be the end of us. You showed me that there was a way to hold conflict in all of its inevitability without fearing whether you'd be there on the other side. Conflict without abandonment. Difference without condemnation. Effort without scorekeeping. I had long ago accepted that I'd always just be the one who cared more, tried harder, fought to make it all work. I thought that's just who I was. I wasn't hoping for this kind of care. I didn't even know it existed. So, when one afternoon, about a year ago, you informed me that I needed to let you know my ring preferences, it all made sense. So I did, and another year went by, and then you told me to pack for a trip to Montreal. You said you wanted to take me to this magical park where we could skate through a forest. Our third date was on skates. So I had my suspicions. Just in case my suspicions were right, I started trying to take better care of my nails.
Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this footage, but this is so ridiculous and stupid that I'm filming it. So, a couple things are happening. I'm pretty sure that Justin is proposing to me in like 36 hours. Like, I'm pretty sure there's just been enough like clues and the timing, and I'm pretty sure. And we're going on this trip. And for some reason, to pack for this trip, I got really excited about like getting really good travel size toiletries and like just like perfecting my travel bag. Not because it's a special trip, but because I've never like got my act together. And one of the things I spent like 2 hours researching was like the ideal nail kit, because I pick my nails really bad. It's like a nervous thing. I don't know. I pick my nails really bad and they're always a mess. So I need to like have proper tools with me so that I don't pick at them. And it came with this one tool that I guess is for removing cuticles. There's blood everywhere. It came with this one tool I've never even seen used before, but it's like for removing like excess cuticle. Anyway, I started using it and I'm just bleeding everywhere. There's blood, just like drops of blood all over the house. It's all over the couch. I'm covered in blood and it won't stop. None of my nails will stop bleeding. So I accidentally took too much of my cuticle off. Just like blood everywhere in my house.
Like I said, it all made sense. And the next morning, we flew to Montreal. I got dressed to go skating and put on my most photogenic winter outfit. By the way, these socks, these are Bombas. Now, I'm not saying that if you wear Bombas socks, you are more likely to get engaged to the love of your life. The Bombas legal team has told me that I cannot claim that, so I'm not. All I'm saying is that I was wearing Bombas socks in this moment months before I knew they would sponsor this video. So if that's not meant to be, then I don't know what is. But let me just be very clear. There is no data proving that wearing Bombas socks means your boyfriend will definitely propose to you. But there's also no data proving that he won't. I'm just saying that Bombas makes the world's comfiest socks. These ones are merino wool, and they're the only socks on earth that I don't sweat through. And once you try them, you'll never go back. Kind of like meeting your person, am I right? Anyway, will these socks get you engaged? I'm not legally allowed to say. But what I can say is that for every item purchased, Bombas donates an essential clothing item to someone in need. So your feet feel good and your soul does too. Listen, all I'm saying is I recommend go to bombas.com/Caroline. Use code Caroline for 20% off your first order. And then let me know if anything life-changing happens. So empowered by love and Bombas socks, we headed out to the skating forest. We skated around for a long time, and let me tell you, it was so much more beautiful in person than I expected. The air was freezing, I was wearing 2 pairs of pants, and I had no cuticles, but I could have stayed out there with you forever. And then you asked if we could record a video clip of us skating. Just for a vlog, you said.
Gonna be you and me. Gonna be everything you ever dreamed. Wanna be who you need. Gonna be everything. Wanna be you and me. Gonna be everything you ever dreamed. Wanna be who you need. Gonna be everything.
People keep asking me what it felt like to get engaged. Was it fireworks? Was it mind-blowing? Was it surreal? No, it felt very, very real. It was a beautiful moment, but honestly, the thrill didn't come from the proposal. The thrill came from being with you. It felt like you had already been my husband for a very long time. So seeing you on one knee in the freezing cold, looking up at me with big brown eyes, just felt like the external world finally catching up to what was internally already true. I had been so determined to find a man who didn't need me, a man who was stable and established, who wouldn't just take from me. I was so focused on looking for someone who didn't need me to take care of them that I forgot there was a whole other category to consider. Someone who was excited to take care of me. Someone who would work as hard at relationships as I do. Someone who would eagerly embrace the inconveniences of no longer living as a solitary person because they so believed in all the benefits that came with it. No convincing necessary. Listen, I tried my best to imagine the man I would never imagine. But the one thing I never expected was you.